Your top 10 rogue decks for post Supreme Darkness. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more awesome heroes. Yeah, that's right. I gotta leave heroes in the category here because, you know, they just got some cool new evil hero support, which is actually, I think, what everybody wanted to be seeing out here. People wanted to see some pretty cool new power-ups for heroes. I mean, the evil hero package does do some relatively interesting things. I think one of the best summarizations of the new support is, oh boy, new bricks. Which means a brand new build for heroes to try to do things. I don't think that this deck is going to come close to being a top 10 challenger, as much as, you know, the hero mains out here tell me that they've got some cool new innovation, which I just saw Break the Destiny build show up recently, which was really, really cool to say. But if you are, if you're excited for the Supreme Darkness version of this deck, congratulations. Heroes are going to get more support, and, you know, as long as your best end board, the token from Nibiru, doesn't get interrupted, you'll be in a good place. Mermails. Now, this deck actually, I think, is going to be one of the scarier decks out here. Mermails in its current incarnation could already steal games just by existing. The ability to hand rip your opponent is some of the scarier little stuffs that we could really see out here. And I gotta give it up for the time being. I think that the new Mermail stuff, the deck doesn't necessarily become a new consistent power creature by any stretch of the imagination, but I think what you are going to have to deal with, though, is the potential Mulunglacia shaving more cards off of your hand, kind of leaving you in a little bit worse of a situation than you normally might have not wanted to find yourself in. So, honestly, I think the Mermail experiences, if your opponent doesn't have a Fulawars, kind of counter back, like, and they're going first and you don't have a good hand trap, uh-oh, stinky. Goblin Biker. So this also technically, Goblin Biker's got this awkward support in the rank 3 department out here. And also, it's not like you can't combine this stuff with Phantom Knights. You also got the new little dragons to kind of power up your deck on the rank 3 package, which is actually kind of nice. Anything the Goblin Bikers can really get to add into their pool of stuff to be a better matchup against Rizal, I think was what people were really looking at to see out here. Do I think Goblin Bikers has a good matchup against Rizal? Yes. Do I think it has a good matchup against everything else? It's kind of what the new supplemental engines were kind of there to do. Their purpose is to make it so that you can have things be a little bit more consistent in the worse off departments to allow you a better chance to kind of counter back against the meta. And that's kind of what we're seeing a little bit with that new stuff. So, hey, you get to play a vanilla monster in your deck now. We also have Sword Soul over here. Now, I do not think, by any stretch of the imagination, that Sword Soul is going to be topping crazy amounts of regionals out here. I do think, however, that the new Tenyi stuff that we got for this deck is really, really cheesy. And if you want a chance to, you know, if you can high roll, I'm actually going to call it a high roll, because if you do not open up that new Tenyi stuff at all, Sword Soul crumbles apart. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to see that new stuff in order to even get to a board that looks like a good place to be, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. If not, you're going to be playing basic Sword Soul, and basic Sword Soul got power carved a very long time ago. It's kind of crazy, actually, just how bad Sword Soul by itself is. But if you can hit that high stuff, I think you can top 8 locals pretty easily. All right, and then of course Arcana Force, really? So Arcana Force, for those of you that know, we did a lot of playtesting episodes on this channel with Arcana Force. I've also playtested against it a lot, but the problem is, God, man, as much of a cool high roll as the deck is, like, one hand trap, one, I don't even, if a Veiler on, like, the starter to attempt, or, like, an Ash on the discard, just blows this deck up. Like, I think by even leaving it in the rogue section that I'm incorrect here, but a lot of people out here seem to think that Arcana Force is going to do something. So it was really cool to see that the rogue department was ramping this up to be something exciting. Yeah, sure. But man, one hand trap and it all falls apart. Like, that's the honest truth. Deck is really frickin' awesome, though. Speedroids. Now, this, I think, might actually be able to do something. For all intents and purposes out here for the Speedroid support, a lot of people just don't know how to read cards, and you're going to get a chance to take a lot of advantage of people just kind of falling into some of the ins and outs that the Speedroid strategy kind of has. And also we have multiple Kashtira Unicorn, which really, hey, free level 7. Special summon, congratulations. Now we can go down all the extra little lines that we need to do, which is really strong, actually. You're still playing Speedroids, so you got to kind of bear that in mind that your card pool is not exactly the best. But in terms of your synchro strategies for the time being, yeah, I think you can do something with the new stuff, genuinely. And I'm really rooting for you guys. I don't think you're better than Crystron, though. That's why Crystron's all the way up top as the scary, interesting little deck, while Speedroids is back down here in the rogue category. Gladiator Beast. So, I don't think that this deck is going to pop off either, necessarily. I think that we're going to see 1 to 2 very extreme examples pop out of the woodwork. And it's going to be like maybe a 60-card grass variant that somebody worked up that was able to kind of turbo into a lot of the big Gladiator Beast guy, which is an option. I mean, I've kind of been thinking about that, which might have an off chance to perform once or twice. If you're looking at this being a consistent regional challenger, no, not even. The idea of being able to turbo out the new Gladiator Beast stuff is cool, but by modern standards, like, I don't know, man. You just got to go second, and you got to hope for an absolutely blowout setup. And Glads might potentially be able to kind of pull that off. Like, I don't see an issue as to why it's not doable. Voiceless Voice. Now, this is another one of those little interesting decks that we have seen kind of evolving. You got the Ryuji builds out here, which have been really strong, actually. You've also got the Voiceless Voice in combination with Rizal. Somebody's going to be like, Rabbit, why'd you not put Voiceless Voice in, like, top 10? To be very truthfully and honest with you, it was a very hard consideration not to. Especially with all the builds and things that have been kind of spawning with this. Voiceless Voice is a very good rogue deck right now, for sure. If you want the honest opinion, it's probably the 11th best deck in the room, if not truly the 10th best, depending on where the other things are going to go. But you got to remember, you have another set porting in 100 new cards into this metagame. So you're going to have to deal with the shift around out here. So you got to see where the unknowns with those potentials lie to kind of see where we're going to develop and kind of go from there. Yeah, I know. It's a lot. Mimighoul. Yeah, I'm still leaving Mimighoul on this list as well. I think that the Dungeon Master himself still has a lot of tricks up his sleeve, especially with Dominus Impulse getting pushed out of the meta just a little bit, has given this deck a little bit more room to breathe. And honestly, that's one of the better things that we really needed to see, was once Dominus Impulse kind of got pushed out of the meta because of Rizal doing its thing, it was just all uphill from that point on. So, honestly, Mimighoul also being able to stop Rizal is really funny, because you can't get a normal summon. So, okay, well, that takes away Ice being able to kind of do its thing. So, yeah, when I'm losing those key cards that I need in order to play the game, I feel like we have some issues out here, to really say the least. So yeah, Mimighoul still in the dungeon, still doing what it needs to do. And then we're going to put Ritual Beast up here as the last one. Honestly, this was another hard one to place down here, because Ritual Beast just feels like the one of the better options that we've kind of had just doing its thing in the meta today. And granted, I think we'll see Protoss maybe fall a little bit harder out of the meta, depending. I mean, with more rogue decks coming in, I mean, Protoss only gets better, but as long as your top end remains as strong as it is, necessarily Protoss doesn't feel great right now. But hey, more rogue players choosing to boycott and spend more money on more expensive cards means that Protoss gets to chomp on the rogue decks, which means Ritual Beast technically does have a better chance to play right now. So All a lot of important things to consider. So, what do you guys think? Please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons! Thank you!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.